special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day.
And a very special day it is. It is a terrific Wednesday, an educational Wednesday, but it also means my partner in crime, my co-host this morning, Bradley Gilbert. Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Becky.
Happy Wednesday morning, a wet Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Glad to have you right across from Walmart. You've been over there doing stuff this morning, getting your...
Yeah, inventory day.
Inventory,
day.
yay,
So,
yay.
Yay, it's a good thing.
Does that mean party day?
Yeah, I mean, there's already, yeah. The HR guy's job is to make sure there's all kinds of food. So I've got that covered. For breakfast, lunch, everything. We've got that covered. But I do want to give a shout out to all of the associates around the clock that have worked very hard to make sure that inventory can go well. We inventory one time a year, and so it's not easy even for a great store. So the overnight associates, we made sure we fed everybody last night and the day before. So anyway, but shout out to all of them who worked very hard and make it look easy, but they do a great job every day, and especially for inventory. So thank you to all of them.
The food chairman you are.
Yes.
Oh, that's great responsibility.
Yeah. I know. It's a good gig to have.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But,
that's the one time that the HR guy can walk in at 5 a.m. and nobody's upset. Because they know it's a different mission that morning.
Exactly.
So,
Well, thanks for coming in this morning, and we'll make sure that you don't fall asleep over there, okay? Early morning.
Yeah.
Also, we have Eastern in the house, Education Wednesday, and we have Amber King, principal at the middle school over at Eastern School Corporation, and we also have Michael Gilbert. And Michael, I cannot remember what you teach.
I do all the STEM and STEM innovation at the middle school.
Okay, a lot going on there. Okay, awesome. We're going to find out all of the great things that Eastern got going on. And do you guys realize, I know we don't want to talk about the countdown, but what are we at, 5-6 days or something like that?
We're really close.
Yeah.
And we have five more wake-ups.
Yeah. How many more sleeps? That's what I always have to tell my grandkids. How many sleeps do we get before we get to see each other again, you know? Yeah. And it's funny because, you know, sometimes it's crazy trying to get it all in, and I know you do a great job, and I know that it's a busy time of year. But thank you for taking time for us this morning. I'm looking up real quick. Sorry, what today is, so that we can kind of see, because we're going to be down to the last Wednesday actually for Eastern, and give you guys the summer off, because unless you got something big going on, we'll definitely have you on during the summer, but we'll see you back again in the fall. So of course, what is this? Something, anything that can and will go wrong is challenging. It's 15th day of May. Today is Bring Flowers to Someone Day. There we go. Flowers.
Yeah.
That was
brought those in.
All right. HQ Awareness Day. All right. International Day of Families. Love that.
That should be every day.
I agree. MPS Awareness Day. Ooh, here we go. National Chocolate Chip Day.
Oh, yes.
What, Amber, you like chocolate chip?
Absolutely.
Chocolate chip cookies?
Right. Any of it. Ice cream.
Yeah. What about you, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
I saw you light up.
Rhetorical,
I saw Michael move. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What about you, Brad?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've met one I didn't like, right? National Juice Slushy Day. Amber, if I was going to fix you a juice slushy, what kind of juice slushy would I be fixing you?
Strawberry.
Ooh.
Or peach. One of the two.
What about you?
I'm just going just standard orange juice.
An orange slushy. They used to have like the orange Julius. Remember those? Yep. Yeah. All right, what about you, Brad?
Probably like a pina colada or orange pineapple.
Ooh. I'm going to throw in that. I'm with strawberry, orange pineapple, or what about a mango?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, any of the above, okay? National Number Day. Okay, love that. National Safety Dose Day. National Senior Fraud Awareness Day. Very good. And National Police Officer Memorial Day. Hats off for all those police officers that have and their families. Okay, I have not read this. I don't know what. Okay, so I'm pre-reading this. Okay, relieve your past by listening to the first music you ever bought, no matter what it was. No excuse day. What was the first music you ever bought, Amber? Do you remember?
A Reba McEntire CD.
Oh, Reba.
I was like 5th or 6th grade maybe when I got my first
And
big
isn't
like multiple disc CD player.
Yeah.
And it was a Reba McEntire song. The Why Haven't I Heard From You, I think is what that was.
Did you blast that? I bet that was all
Singing
over
in the
house.
hairbrush. Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. And she's still rocking it. And she is so beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think maybe followed up by the Bodyguard soundtrack. I think that was.
Oh wow. Wow.
When she passed away, when Whitney Houston passed away, my whole household, in every shower, there was "I Will Always Love You."
Uh-huh.
I mean, everybody that took a shower, which I have 6 daughters, the shower was full of "I Will Always Love You" blasting out. I wish I would have recorded
it
the
hid the
audio.
tears. It hid the
It
tears.
hid the tears. Oh, we mourned. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Bodyguard. Oh, I'm with you on that, Amber. 100%. What about you, Michael?
Hanson. You remember the brothers
Wait, hold
Hanson?
on.
Mbop.
Mbop. Yeah, I believe that was 2nd grade. I think.
Wow.
And yeah.
Was that? Hang on, help me out. No, that's the Hansons. I'm thinking of Nick Carter, but name was Hanson brothers.
There were
right?
3 brothers, I think.
And the lead singer was the youngest one, the long blonde
Was
hair.
it Mbop like it though?
Mbop.
Yeah.
I remember there was a song called "Man from Milwaukee" on that album.
Oh.
I don't know why I remember that. Stephanie Richardson also loved that song.
Okay.
But yeah, Hanson
And
was
how
my
did it go,
first
Michael? Can you
album.
sing a little
I
more
will
of
not, but we all remember it.
Bring back it to our memory. But you, Brad?
Well, I'm gonna date myself, but Eagles Hotel California on vinyl.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like vinyl. What is that?
Oh,
Look
it's
around
made a
you.
comeback.
Yeah, look around this room. You'll see vinyl.
Yeah.
Anybody always gets a life lesson when they come in this room. There's
Yeah.
so much vinyl. Yeah. Oh, it's funny. The Eagles is one band. Of course, I got to hang out or see them. Remember, there's one band I know every word to every song. I don't think there's an Eagles song that I don't. You know how Boston. I love Boston. I love several groups, but Eagles are one of them. I just every word, and and every song is good.
Yeah.
It's just that's.
And then my second album was again, I'm gonna date myself, but Kiss, the original Hotter Than Blank on vinyl.
I love that. Yeah. Which I love their music too, for sure. No, that's good music.
Yeah.
Good music. Yeah.
So.
And Michael, I think you know somebody that loves Kiss.
Oh yeah, that's my wife's. The in-laws. That's a go-to
yeah.
over there with them.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mike loves that.
Yep.
I said that's why he retired, so he could go to Kiss concerts.
Oh yeah, he's got all the pinball machine. He's got the memorabilia. He's got all kinds of stuff.
And that's very smart man, because I've still got like 10 albums on vinyl that I still play.
Yeah.
Kiss.
Yeah.
So he called me up one time and he's like, "Hey, I've got some Kiss concert tickets and I can't make it. Do you want to go?" He gave me some Kiss concert tickets.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
But then
nice.
I've tried to give him tickets too. So, but anyway, it's a good group. All right, Straw Hat Day. Amber, you ever wear a straw hat?
I don't think so. I've tried it. I don't think I do.
What are you, Michael?
No straw hats.
Oh, Brad.
Well, yes, I do,
Mowing,
and not
yeah.
that I mow in one of those straw hats for mowing. Just
No, it's really cool.
You know,
it is. No, it's really cool.
It's,
He's a vision. You'll stop and watch when you drive by.
Yes,
It's a vision.
It's a vision, all right. But no, I mean, I put my straw hat on.
Love
It protects my ears and bald head and my neck, so it's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I says I've got one. I have both of them. Turn beauty inside out. Love that. Love the beauty from the inside, right? Really try to push that. And of course, middle school, that's very important for everybody to understand, how beautiful they are on the inside.
Absolutely, we try.
Yeah. World FM Day. Let's hear it for the FM.
There you go.
97.9.
Right.
Giddy up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Celebrate poor AM. AM was first.
The trailblazer
That's
gets
right.
slighted.
Always.
Always. That's the way it works.
What's new in the neighborhood? right? World Product Day. World Stationery Day. So get out and enjoy. There we go. There's our holidays. There's a lot of holidays to celebrate. I think the one we need to take away is the music and the chocolate chip and then the slushy drink, right?
Yes.
Give us a slushy drink and a chocolate chip. That's what we need. You know?
Yeah.
Good.
The straw hat, slushy drink set by the pool.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to Brad.
With
Is the pool
chocolate
ready?
chip.
The pool's ready?
It will be ready Friday.
Okay. Yay. All right.
We're in the process now. Yes.
All right, well, let's jump in and find out. Let's talk about the middle school. And Amber, first of all, tell us about your background. And of course, we know it, but for those that are not familiar with Amber King, and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm wrapping up my 11th year as the principal at East Washington Middle School. So, obviously, I love what I do, or I wouldn't keep doing it. So, I love being there. I love the building. I love the people. To me, that's what makes East Washington very special, are the people who work there and the kids who come through the doors. So I've been there for 11 years. Before that, I taught high school at North Harrison High School for 7 years, which is where I graduated and where I'm originally from. I've got 4 kiddos. One graduated from Eastern midterm, and he's playing football at IU right now. I've got one that's a sophomore at Eastern High School. I've got one that's a 7th grader at East Washington Middle School, and then I've got my little guy, he's 1. So just staying busy and loving my job. But we've got a lot of cool stuff going on here at the end of the year. It's like a circus. The whole month of May is just a circus, where you don't know what's going to pop up on your calendar next and hope you remembered it all. So today we actually have our awards program. We're doing a little different this year. We're calling it the Muskies. It's a fancy day at the middle school. We've encouraged everybody to dress like they're headed to the Oscars, and we've got a big awards program this afternoon as soon as lunch is over. So we're excited about that today. We're going to be recognizing a lot of kids today.
So Muskies for like Musketeers, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I
the
love
Muskies.
this. Do I need to do the red carpet for them? I will interview
Come on, we've
them.
got a red carpet.
Do I
We've
need
got
to
the
come
velvet
interview
ropes.
them? I would come interview
Come
them.
on.
I
It starts
would.
about 12 o'clock today.
I love that.
Yeah, we've got the red carpet and the velvet ropes and the fog and the
So
lights.
whose idea was that? Who?
So Tom Cullen retired last year. We miss Tom a lot, but there were a few things he did that other people have kind of taken over. So Tom always ran our awards program. It had a lot to do with our athletics and that kind of stuff. So that was one of the things I just kind of put it out there this year and said, Tom always did this. Who wants it now? And Shelby Thomas and Stratton Thomas. They both teach 7th and 8th grade. They took it on, so they're hosting. They've got lots of kids involved. They've been working on this for weeks. So I'm very excited. Our school rock band's going to perform this afternoon. I'm really excited for our first Muskie. So if you're free this afternoon, 12 o'clock in the Pack.
I'd love to.
I'm really excited to see what happens today.
So Amber, who all are you honoring? Have you tried to hit all of the different areas? We know that everybody's unique, and and sometimes certain things stand out a little bit more, but everybody should stand out. You know what I'm saying? Have you really been trying to get?
Yes. So historically, this program was more for athletics, which Tom Cullen was also our athletic director. Leah Sterrett has taken over athletics this year for the middle school, and Leah has done banquets for each of the sports throughout the year, which we had not done in the past. So they've all been recognized throughout the year at the banquets now. So they'll have a moment to shine today. We do have a little segment where there's slides coming up where they're each just going to stand in their seats if they were awarded something or recognized at their team banquets. But the big focus of this is academics. So teachers have, determined, who's the best science student, who's the best reader, who's the best, they've come up with all kinds of different titles. I can't think of all the names of these awards, but they're really neat. But not only are we recognizing one student as a recipient of all these awards, they had to create nominees. So and the nominees are, and they'll each stand in their seats and then announce who the winner is, and they'll come up on stage and be recognized. And I'm just really excited to see it play out this afternoon.
Oh yeah,
it's our first one, and
we learned it's an honor just to be nominated. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, but by doing, I think we have, I want to say it's almost 100 awards that are being given out today. So I mean, we're recognizing a lot of kids today.
Yeah.
Our robotics, our other clubs, our spell bowls, our math bowls, just a lot of different kids.
So isn't that exciting, though, that you've got 100 different things that you can celebrate, positive, great wins at your school system? I think that's part of the awesomeness of that part of it.
And then tomorrow's May Blast.
Okay.
So that is always everybody's favorite day of the year in middle school. When you ask them what their favorite part of middle school is, they always say May Blast. So it's a huge field day that we'll have out at the track all day tomorrow. And then next week we've got field trips. Our 6th grade's going to the Kentucky Derby Museum next week. 5th grade's they're going to be in Salem, the courthouse, the Stevens Museum, all that kind of stuff tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week. Our 8th grade walk's coming up. We've just got a lot of our National Junior Honor Society inductions on Monday. So just a lot of stuff here in these last 5 days of school.
Let's see what all we can do at the end, right? Let's just leave it all for the end. So what about the let's go back on the May blast. Like, is it like games and stuff and different things?
Yep, it's out at the football field, and we've got all kinds of stuff set up. Andrew Llewellyn is our new assistant principal this year, and so he's kind of taken that on. Whitney Smith and Robin Rayleigh help him a lot. But they've got just lots of games set up everywhere, lots of cross net, spike ball, wiffle ball, kickball, a pool with those new water balloons that don't leave a mess that you can throw at people, with a rope off area, so you only get hit if you're in there. We'll have a tug of war competition, grilling out burgers and hot dogs, slushy machines, cotton candy machines, just all kinds of lots of raffles, door prizes. The community always contributes things to draw kids' names all day long and get stuff, popsicles, just a fun day outside all day long. Lots of music, a DJ.
That's so much fun. So with the middle school, it's we talk about like the middle school age, throughout every time, we have an education Wednesday, you have your high school and your elementary. The middle school is such a different age. Yeah. It's such you're talking almost, that's when the transition from the caterpillar to the butterfly. Do you feel, a lot of people, honestly, the middle school is a lot. And I'm not, a lot of, like, if you talk to a lot of different teachers, they would, and I don't mean this disrespectful, but think that it's a big challenge. The middle school is a big challenge.
Yes, I would agree with that. Is that fair to say? Yes, I would agree with that. And it all hits at different times, and that's one of the hardest parts, because their social lives and their friends, and they're all hitting that maturity at different times, and that causes friendships to fizzle sometimes, and them to go into different groups and feel like they're left out, because it's a lot of emotions in one building. So,
right, no, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, in elementary, I feel like, you're just kind of like, everybody's just, it's a little more lighter, it's a little bit more, middle school's more structured, you're kind of learning more responsibilities and kind of being a little bit more independent. But like you said, you've got a lot of emotions, everybody grows at different ages, you've got different, you got a lot going on. And then when they hit high school, they're a little bit more, and I'm not saying that when you get in that freshman year that you're not still a lot going on, and I'm not knocking high school, or saying high school doesn't have a lot too, but it just seems that middle school's that huge. Don't you feel that huge growth?
Well, they come in as 5th graders and they leave as 8th graders, and I've always, since I've been doing this the last 11 years, I've decided there's no other time in a person's life other than 0 to 3 that they change more in a 3-year span than they do from 5th to 8th grade. They come in one way, and you wouldn't even recognize them when they leave as 8th graders.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not always an easy process in that change, right?
No.
Right.
That's
But in a good way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like,
That's just and it's. I think that any middle school teacher or anybody that is involved in middle school has to realize that this is, part of the process.
And I'm going to go ahead and plug Michael. There's a reason I brought him today.
Yes. Michael,
not just for his good humor.
Oh yeah, everything's fair.
I think I'm hearing amen.
Everything, and so far is very accurate.
Yeah. Giving the head shakes. Yes.
But one thing we try to do at the middle school, it is a difficult age, but our job is, we've been put in that place to love them through it. And we talk about different ways to encourage them and to make learning engaging and to make them want to be there. I know it sounds crazy to think that any 12 or 13-year-old would want to get up and come to school. But we want it to be that way. We want it to be an engaging experience, and we want it to feel like it's meaningful. We started a Life Ready Challenge this year, replacing what we've done as the Amazing Shake for the past 7 years. I feel like the kids have found that Life Ready Challenge very meaningful. We've had all the kids changing tires this year, checking oil, learning to use power tools, counting back change, grocery shopping on a budget, learning how to open up a bank account. We've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff this year, and I do think that the kids see that as, oh, this is relevant. Like, this is stuff I might, so many of the things they don't see that way. So we want to figure out a way to take the Indiana state standards that we're required to teach and required to test on and make them meaningful to the kids. Make them, this is good stuff. You do need to know how to do this and make it pertinent. And so Michael has spent the last 4 or 5 years really working on this vision. and we are about to see the baby walk, and I'm so excited about it. In 2020, we became a STEM certified school. It was in February. Everybody knows what happened right after that.
Yeah, I know. March
So,
18th, March 17th,
So, February of 2020, we got our STEM certification. And after that, we didn't get to implement a lot of the plans and visions that we had because of the pandemic, obviously. So, we've kind of kicked it back into gear. We've just finished our brand new cafeteria. And so next school year, starting in August, our students will transition to eating in that new cafeteria. And what is currently our cafeteria is going to turn into something really, really amazing. And Michael has spearheaded that. We've got a lot of grant dollars to fund it. And he just has a huge vision that has also become the vision of our staff as he's worked this year through them that I'm really excited about. So I'm going to stop talking and let you question Michael or let him chime in with what we're doing.
Tell us everything.
Yes.
First of all, tell us about yourself too. Your education.
Yeah. So I'm finishing up year 14 over at East Washington. Did the first year at the high school, and I've been in the middle school ever since. In pretty much every role. There is. I started in special education for 4 years, and then Amber pulled me out into the ELA world, where I did that for 4 or 5 years, and then transitioned into computer science, and then STEM and STEM innovation, and then I had more of a coaching role this year through the DOE's STEM cadre program. So I've served a little bit of everything, but like she said, the last 4 years have really been spent just looking into what's possible with STEM and STEM initiatives and just that approach, that engagement approach to learning. And there were 4 of us who sat over at the admin building 4 years ago when this very broad idea was pitched, and never would have dreamed that this is where it would be or where my life would be and how we would, how we'd be looking at things. But the innovation space that we're going to launch, we're hoping, we really do hope can become a model for what education not just can be, but what it maybe should be. In the last 4 years, I've had the opportunity to dig into this and travel and learn and present and collaborate and do all these things. It's very apparent education is, in a sense, broken. From our behaviors, from our learning gaps, to the teachers that are running for the doors. I mean, we're looking at 35% turnover rate right now in education with trying to employ teachers and staff. It's just a broken system, and I feel like everywhere you go, everybody's throwing Band-Aids on these huge underlying problems, and I feel like Amber's kind of came in with this vision, and I've kind of it's caught on, and I'm trying to run with it. Where engagement is the key component that we're missing. Our generation came in, and education was very simple. You sit, you listen, and you learn, and that's what we did. That's just this generation, very simply, doesn't do that. It's like she said, you have to find relevancy in what you're teaching and what they're learning, because they're going to ask you why. Why do I need to do this? And they don't do it. We all saw that. We all knew most of us weren't going to need to know about plate tectonics or the Pythagorean theorem in our lives, but we sat there and did it because that's what we were told we were supposed to do. This generation, it's a little harder to combat. And so the innovation space, we hope, will become an area that truly brings education to life. Through technologies, through pathways, through hands-on learning, we really have a massive vision for what it can be, and it's hopefully going to tackle some of these massive problems in education. Class sizes are getting bigger. We're going to hope that this space allows specifically math to kind of alleviate that, where you can differentiate a little bit better and have a space where you can send students for constant peer tutoring that are struggling, or those that need enrichment have a place to come and grow. Those students that don't find engagement tools or don't find engagement in things like social studies, where you're learning about geographical features, we can take you on virtual field trips with VR to see waterfalls and glaciers and experience that rather than reading about it and sitting and listening and taking notes. Those students that need the more hands-on approach, we're talking about having things from We're talking about the scientific method. We're going to have things like engines and cars where they can literally come in and work on things and see the process of how science works. We're looking at incorporating things like video games and consoles for ELA and role-playing games and graphic design and programming. A real state-of-the-art kind of new age look at the approach to education. And it's been really fun to be a part of. It's been frustrating at times because we've been at this for 4 years, but we finally have a green light, and it feels like we can kind of see the light. And hopefully in August we can roll out something not only that's not just special to us, because it will be, but hopefully can serve, like we said, as a model for others to see what's possible in education.
One thing that I noticed that you were talking about there is that you're trying to get students engaged, but kind of tell us how the peer tutoring works. I mean, that engages kids to be the tutor and... Yeah,
and the approach we're taking to that, we actually we reached out to our high school. That's where we wanted to start. We knew that it's going to be me in there and others that can help, but we knew in order to fully run this and address the problems that need to be addressed and kind of hit some targets that we wanted to hit, we needed help. And the high school students, we felt like it was a good place to start, especially when it came to the tutoring side of things. So what we did was we designed an application. We put it out to all the high schoolers that were out there. We offered it as a course where they're getting credits and a grade. And
there were different roles they could apply for. There were a lot of different options within
from
the space to apply to.
From specific peer tutoring to running tech to introducing students and teaching about some of the pathways that we have, as that becomes a huge push. But we put out this application process, and we had a really good. We had a really good a lot of applications.
Over 50.
Yeah.
To work there.
And based on scheduling, we were able to get about 20. We're hoping for a few more here as we open it up. But yeah, we had really good feedback, and so we're hoping that they can serve in a lot of those roles as well.
That's twofold.
And we also and it solved the problem in like staffing. Hiring and staffing.
Yeah.
It's Michael in this huge space with all of these kids. So let's give the high school kids credit, grades. Let's make this a period that they could actually come down and learn this stuff and work, because what better way to learn than to teach someone else?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's twofold. Yeah. The high school is going to benefit.
Yes. And another thing that's kind of come from this, we really want with our middle school kids next year. So Michael will teach every 8th grader. Every 8th grader will have a full period in this space with Michael. But it's a huge space. So there's also going to be a board where teachers can sign up to bring their classes in at any time. And so that's what these high school students are going to be looking at. They're going to come in each day. They're going to have access to the sign-up sheets and say, okay, well, Miss Purley signed up to bring her kids in for an Oculus experience today, or Miss So-and-so signed up to bring their kids in for this. So then those kids will be setting that stuff up, working with those other classes coming in and running that, or helping with Michael's 8th grade class while Michael runs that. But it'll be a very structured kind of a work environment. But also, we want our middle school kids to go through a badging system where we've got all of this tech in there, and they can apply or sign up or schedule extra time to come in and become an expert in different types of technology. And then once they become an expert in these different types of technology, they can earn their badge. And we'll have some sort of a badging system with these kids where they earn points for their house. We've still got the house competition and all that kind of stuff by learning this tech. But then also our elementary school teachers will have access to the middle school list of students who are experts in different forms of technology, and they can book those middle school students to come to the elementary school and teach those forms of technology and work with those kids at the elementary school.
It's like a snowball effect. It just keeps
like,
going
whoa.
and going. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
this is
amazing.
like, talk about in-house.
But we're hoping by giving the kids these opportunities to, hey, I could leave the building and go teach this at the elementary school, but I have to work, and I have to schedule appointments, and I have to come in and learn it, and I have to earn this badge, and then I get to, but it's kind of, they're learning, and it's relevant material.
Yeah.
But, things that they could maybe get on board with and realize, if I do this, I could do cool stuff with it.
Yeah. And you can identify future educators, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Grow
you're
in-house.
In-house growth is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Going back to the for those, and I do know, and I think we do know, Brad and I, we Education Wednesday, but STEM. Explain for maybe our listeners that do not know what STEM stands for.
So the acronym is Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And then a lot of times you'll hear STEAM, which is for the arts and all of those things. We include the arts in everything that we do at East Washington.
I don't think you would be allowed to leave the arts.
No, we shouldn't, because they're very strong programs
Yeah, you gotta
in our
really-
building. Very
I don't think
very
I
strong.
don't think they'll let you leave them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cannot be ignored.
Yeah.
And but you go everywhere you go, it's a little bit different. That's what I've learned. STEM, in some places it's manufacturing and fabrication. In some places it's technology. In some places it's robotics. In some places it's computer programming. I think ideally for me, what I've kind of taken from it is it's just a philosophy of teaching and learning, and we want to incorporate all of it. That's what we want. I think STEM above all else adds that engagement piece, which is the key ingredient to teaching and learning in 2024. And so that's what our approach to everything is, and I think that's always been Amber. I think Amber's kind of been ahead of her time with that. She came in with a lot of these huge ideas that no one was talking about early on, but now everybody's trying to figure out, okay, we have to get these kids engaged in the learning process. And so STEM to me, that's what that is. It's a way of looking at, I come in, every student, expecting them not to necessarily care about what I have to teach. So I have to make sure that I show them how powerful this is, or what this actually is, and let them see what it can be. And from there, once you have them, it's a lot easier to teach them than let's take notes over this, and then we'll read a story and answer questions, and then at the end we'll do a project about that scaffolded approach kind of has to shift and change, and STEM allows you to do that. So that's what STEM is, to us, I think.
Well, I think that you go back, and I think that one thing that we've learned in life, we have to change. And I think, every one of us, in this room, have been taught a different way. And I'm sure Amber, as the principal of the middle school, in education, you always have to be ready to change. And you have to go with what works best for these children. This is every class, every student, every person is unique. And this seems to be, this hands-on seems to be working the best with this generation.
Absolutely. They do not have great attention spans. And some people can come back and say, well, they need to be taught to sit and listen, and they do. But their brains function different than ours because they are the technology generation. They have had tablets and iPads in their hands since they were 1 and 2 years old. Yes. So if you look at like a YouTube short or a TikTok or anything that they are using as their news and it's less than 30 seconds. Everything is short. There's nothing that they're going to read, and their brains have been conditioned this way. It's not just that necessarily they're just trying to be defiant. We've got a lot of wonderful kids. They just came back, our 8th graders came back from Washington, D.C. on Monday, and they had some really awesome historical experiences, and I have heard over and over and over from the bus drivers, from everybody, how well behaved they were, how wonderful they were, how respectful they were. It's not a defiant group.
Right.
That's not what I'm trying to,
right.
But their brains work different from ours, and the world that they are going to work in is not the same world that we've grown up working in.
Right.
Their jobs that they're going to do are not the same jobs that I did. And so we can say, well, they still just need to sit there and hear this lecture and do this and do that, but then are we truly preparing them for the way the world has changed and what they need to be able to do in the workforce?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they're a generation of technology, not documentaries, that short thing. I do have a question about how engagement, what you guys have seen. I think just outsider looking in and what you talk about, I think especially thinking about all the years that we've known you, Amber, is you lead through change, not in spite of it. So how do you adapt your leadership style to making sure that when the kids are engaged, what's worked best, or how you adapt, or how that's impacted getting kids to school? In this day and age, it's important the kids are there.
Mm-hmm. And our attendance, I can't say, I feel like at one point we were doing really well with attendance. Again, COVID changed the mindset in attendance. We have struggled more with attendance since COVID than we ever have before.
So you've had to pivot.
So it's It's a struggle. I will say I am very appreciative of our prosecutor that we have here in Washington County right now. We have been getting help, and I appreciate that very much.
And that was one of her things. She really wanted to. That was one of her missions to do that.
So I do appreciate that so
very
much.
Passionate about that.
But there's so many kids that it's like school's optional now, and they know their assignments are in Canvas, and they can see them from home, and some of them don't see it as I really need to be there. So it is still a struggle, and the hope is to do some of these things that they do want to be there on days. I guarantee tomorrow we'll have 100% attendance because it's May Blast. So, there's certain things we can do, and it's not just
Easter at church.
It's not just it's not just days where it's fun and there's no learning. There are days that we can, we had a Dude Perfect Day several years ago, and I still talk about, aside from May Blast, that's the highest attendance day we ever had, because every teacher, they still taught their standards and but they themed everything around Dude Perfect. And we had tremendous attendance on that day. So there's things we can do. But like Michael said, I think in a leadership position, you also have to understand that every teacher's different. And they need to be different because every student's different.
Right.
So I can't expect every teacher to fit my mold, or how I would teach, or how Michael would teach, or how they're all different. Every teacher in my building, if you walk into any classroom, you're not going to see the same thing. It's not a cookie cutter type thing. The kids learn in different ways, and they have different personalities, and they connect with people differently. So I don't want it to be that way. So it's, I've used this saying before with my staff, you don't have to buy everything I'm selling, but put something in your cart. Take something to make you want to be here. It's not even so much, if the teacher wants to be here, it's a trickle-down effect. The kids can tell that. It's going to spark more enthusiasm in them as well. So a lot of what I say to staff, what do we need to do to make you love your job more? Because if you're excited about what you're teaching and what you're doing, that's going to trickle down.
Please say that phrase again. I really like this. You don't have to buy what I'm selling, or what is
selling,
it?
But put something in your cart.
That needs to be on a T-shirt.
I need one for buy everything. Then put something in your cart.
Put something in your cart. Man, I could use that for when we have family meetings.
You have to buy the whole store. But
I love that. No, I think that's great, and I think I like also, and not to Amber, 100% with you. I love this, and I love the idea, and I think it wouldn't even be educational if we didn't realize the differences in our children. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that you have to realize. What their personalities and what their lifestyles are. And I think that's you go through history. We've gone through change. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not always been the most accepted, but everybody, this is part of it. This is a part of the change, and this is, you either get on the choo-choo train or you realize that, you might miss out on that. But I think also learning life lessons. We've learned this like life skills. I heard you talk about like changing tires. Is this correct? I mean, that is those are things too that a lot of times in life, I mean, in school age, we don't know how to do this stuff. Is this something you're going to focus on too?
Yeah, I think it'll bleed over into this space for sure. It's something that we started this year. The Amazing Shake we've done for the past 7 years.
Which was fantastic. And again, you were the trailblazer in this community that started that, Amber.
I really loved the Amazing Shake, and we didn't do away with it because I stopped liking it. I thought it was great to teach those social skills. There were several things that happened. The Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, Georgia is who we did the Amazing Shake through each year. They started charging a large royalty fee to use that, to come there. You had to purchase their kit. There was the expense really went up for that. And I worked a lot of concessions to be able to make it happen before. There was no way I could work any more concessions than I was already working to pay that. So we decided to switch gears and create something that is our own and that we didn't take from somewhere else. So the Life Ready Challenge was solely created at East Washington. And so there's 6 categories. The Amazing Shake was all social skills. Now, social skills is one of 6 categories. So we started in August. August was automotive. So August was everything automotive. You know, one thing we learned when we were looking at that is kids are not getting driver's licenses anymore. We have kids, like only 60% of 18-year-olds have a driver's license in the United States right now. They're just not, and I think a lot of that is because we don't offer driver's education at schools anymore. It's on them and their parents to figure out how to do this, to figure out how do I get this, how do I sign up, and it's not that easy. I mean, I've had 2 kids go through it now. It is a lot to figure out. It's expensive. It's, you know, and we just have a lot of kids not doing it. They're content staying at home. They've got their social world on their phone. They don't necessarily need to leave. So a big part of Automotive Month was, how do you get a learner's permit? How do you get a driver's license? How does the DMV work? What's registration? What's insurance? How do you check oil? I went over to Eddie Gilstrap's here in Salem and filmed a whole video with the guys over at Eddie Gilstrap's. And they showed the kids how to check oil, how to check tire tread, all that kind of stuff. My SROs did how to, and the assistant principal did how to change a tire, what to do if you get pulled over, like what the cop's looking for, how that works. So August was all automotive type stuff. Then September was around the house. So it was how to change air filters, how to unclog a toilet, how to do dishes, how to load a dishwasher, how to do laundry, all that kind of stuff. We also did in that month outside, like weed eating, mowing, you know, all that kind of stuff. The next month was food. So it was grocery shopping, how to do click lists, how to do, you know, go to the store, do delivery, the different options, what a Sam's card is, you know, your Sam's you're buying in bulk, like the differences and all of that, how to plan a meal, how to cook simple meals. I kind of did a cooking show in my kitchen and recorded all of that, how to garden, survival type stuff, hunting. Then December was all about health and safety. So Mr. Gilliam actually did several of those with the kids. A lot of it was on hygiene, how to call and set up your own doctor's appointment, what kind of paperwork you have to fill out when you go to the doctor, what health insurance is. We had 1 month that was all money management. So a lot of that, we have one whole video just on how to count back change.
Thank you.
Works.
And, I do need a list of the ones that did very well in that class. You forward those names to me. I mean,
the First Harrison Bank did a lot with Money Month. We filmed several videos at First Harrison on how to open accounts, how to do all that kind of stuff. Then we had a month, what is that? We've done automotive, around the house, money, health, food, and then the final group then was everything we did in the Amazing Shake. The social skills, the talking. So it's still a part of it, but it's now one of 6 categories. And we still had a large round 1 where every kid in the school competed, and they had to check oil. And we had a whole grocery store set up. They had a shopping cart. They had 2 minutes. We gave them $35 and said, you've got to purchase a meal for a family of 5. And then explain how that works. So you have to double a recipe. So lots of stuff like that.
Now, Amber, you should have called me. Okay. $6. I know. Let me tell you, this mama can make a potato go far.
But all the lessons and stuff we did in homeroom, so it was not taking away from the instruction time of the teachers or anything. Then we had round 1, and then we had a top 40, just like we did in the Amazing Shake. They actually all went over to the First Baptist Church in Pekin. The pastor over there has been helping a lot with our Campus Life program this year and offered up the building for us to set up a huge Life Ready Challenge for our top 40. And then we had a top 10 from the overall Life Ready Challenge. On that day, they changed tires. They did all kinds of stuff. And then Aaron Lee from Cornerstone Farms took the top 10 to Brazeros over in Louisville for a nice steak dinner after they made it to the top 10. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, you've got a lot of areas covered. I don't think there's anything you hardly missed, do you? I mean,
well, I made a post on Facebook last year, and it just said, what do you wish you would have learned in school that you didn't?
Oh.
And I got about 300 comments. And then I took all of those comments and just kind of broke them into categories.
Well, I think these are lessons that you'll use every day, you know? And I think this is great. And I think, you know, years ago we had home ec, you know, and I remember going with our home ec teacher, you know, to the grocery store and learning this stuff, you know what I mean? And we don't have that as much.
And a dream that I have with this, and Michael and I have talked a lot about, is this year we just did it for our East Washington students. What we would like to do maybe in future years, possibly even next year, is after our competition is over, opening it up to other schools and having a regional competition housed at our school where other schools could sign up and bring their kids and participate in something like this as well.
Oh, I think that'd be fun to host something like that. Yeah, that would be very good. networking. Yeah. Well, I think that's great.
And I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to get back to that.
Oh, okay.
I can.
You're going to leave Michael?
And you can't tell, she's smiling.
Yeah. Michael, you're on your own.
Hey,
okay?
we'll be all right.
Now it's just you and us, kid. Okay?
But thank you very much.
Well, Amber, I want
appreciate
you and your beautiful family to have a great summer. And thank you for all you do. And this is Amber King with the middle school. She's the principal, and you do a great job. And behind the scenes, we are always bragging on you. Brad and I both. We're huge fans of Amber King and
thank you.
all that you
I appreciate it very much.
You do a great job.
Thank you. I love my job. And these people make me look good too.
And
so.
have a beautiful summer. Enjoy your
you.
summer. All right, wonderful.
See ya.
And speaking of that, Michael, let's jump in and now that we just got you by yourself, so now it's all you. But tell us, like, as far as teaching, from when you started and when you thought about becoming a teacher till now, has that like a big change? And talk about some of these different changes, I guess.
Oh yeah, I was. Full transparency, you know, I was teaching special education the first 4 years I was at Eastern. Amber got hired. I was actually looking to get out of it. I was going to be doing something else somewhere else. And Amber, for whatever reason, saw enough in me to ask me to take a role in Gen Ed in ELA. And I did that and was probably in over my head for a little bit, but had some great partner teachers and colleagues that kind of helped me keep my head above water when you start jumping into core content like that with no real experience in it, and just kind of found my way. And you know, that's one of the things I can talk about her now. She's not here. One of the things I really love about Amber and working for her is just she kind of talked about this. She's a believer in if your teachers are okay, your kids will be okay. And I don't want to say that that's rare right now, but it does kind of feel like that. A lot of administration right now, we're all focused on these kids. What do we do about these kids with a workforce that's not motivated to come in and work with these kids? The teacher plate has become a platter, and there's just it's a frustrating profession. And Amber gives you the confidence to go out and do things differently. And that's what I told her when this whole thing started, was like, I'm struggling doing it the way that I was taught and the way that I've seen it done. And I want to do it differently. And she said, well, go do that. And so that's what kind of started me down the rabbit hole of finding that passion and joy again in this profession, and in creating and designing and just doing things differently than what I had seen, and just finding things that worked and trying to do that. And it made me happy, and I've enjoyed it. And she's right. When that happens, the kids typically enjoy being in there too. So, yeah, it's definitely changed. I'm very thankful that I went through that before COVID. A lot of teachers going through it right now, post-COVID, and that's a different beast. But yeah, it does change. But that's one thing. And I've gotten the opportunity the last several years to do some traveling and presenting and things when it comes to the STEM world. And like, there's still a lot of joy to be had in this profession, and there's still aha moments you can have with students. It's just the traditional route doesn't get you as many right now as adapting and kind of changing to fit that. You know, we were talking about the kids and the technology, and one of the things that nobody does talk about, we look at technology as a distraction, but this is a generation that's only inundated themselves with what they want when they want. And that's a weird concept, because we weren't that way. Like, if I wanted to watch cartoons when I was a kid, you had after school from like 3 to 4:30, and then you had Saturday mornings. Like, that's what you did. These kids watch what they want whenever they want. They have access. They listen to what they want when they want. And when your brain is only used to taking in what you want when you want it, sitting and listening to a teacher try to talk to you about things you don't want to hear, you just kind of metaphorically swipe them left or right until you hear something you want to. And that's one of those things that I feel like we need to talk about more in education. That's what you need more professional development on, is what's happening in these brains and why. Because I think that's why a lot of teachers are frustrated. Why isn't, this has worked for me for 20 years, why isn't it working anymore? And it's a different brain that we're trying to teach, and that's something that we have to think about, and that's something that's helped me. I think I've become aware of that and tried to hit that mark with everything that I'm trying to teach them. So yeah, you have to adapt, and I've definitely changed in the last 14 years to make it to where we are now. So.
Well, that's a good thought. You know how, like, you bring up some really good our talking points and thinking points, because that is true. And you go back, like, like I'm going to use the episode or Friends, okay? we'd have to watch it once a week, and you'd wait
Yeah.
to find
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if it was Ross's or Rachel's fault. You know, who's, you know what I
Right.
mean? And you know what I mean? And were they on a break? You know, I mean, you had to wait that week. Well, now they can just watch all the episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And matter of fact, my daughter said, I can't even imagine if I, you know, because she could watch all of the episodes. She
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
I can't imagine waiting that week. You know, and I said, but we didn't know any different. You know,
Oh, yeah.
That was what we.
That's
you
the way
know,
it is. It's
that's
what
the way
you
it
knew.
was. You know, and you know, we're going to go back a little bit, few years. You know, when Brad and I, you know, like whenever Frosty the Snowman or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer came on one time,
Yep.
you know, I mean, you either missed
You
it.
made,
You,
yeah, you
Yeah,
made
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You made sure you knew when it was on.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yep.
that was
Or
like.
it was like, see you next year.
Yep.
Yeah, and now you could watch it anytime you want
Yeah.
to. I mean, I think you bring up a great point. And these are good things, and this is like helping other people understand.
Yeah,
How,
yeah.
And that's part of learning and knowing, and how, and then of course, then you have to figure out how to work around and work with that.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not wrong. It's just part of it.
It is. It's just part of it, and it's one thing. That's the other unique side of this. Like, we all know both of these worlds. We know the pre-tech world, and we know the one now. It's not even that. It's not that this generation, they don't even know. Like, they don't even know that world existed. They have no clue what it was like to have dial-up internet and have to wait or have to download a song. It took 3 days to, you know, that's, my generation had all this technology, but that's what we used it for, downloading illegal music and social media. Like, that's what we started with. In this generation, they do everything with it. They just inundate themselves with whatever they want, whenever they want it, and that's all they know.
On demand now.
Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
And we do it. I mean, that's the other part of it. I get frustrated sometimes when you start talking to teachers that are like, I just wish things would go back. And it's like, we say that, but at the same time, I'm always going to order stuff off Amazon. I'm going to use my click list. I'm not going to the mall to try things. Like, I love the fact that I can get what I want when I want it too. And it's hypocritical sometimes to be like, well, I just would.
Well, you can't
We've
go back.
embraced it, yeah.
You can't
You
go
can't
back.
go
You
back.
gotta
We
go
can't embrace
forward. You know what I mean?
pieces and then
You
not
can't go in
accept
that
all of
rearview
it.
mirror. You got to keep
Yeah.
going forward.
But what it's done to the human brain and how it's developed, and that's a big passion of mine. That's, you know, I'm working on my doctorate right now and doing all these things with that focus of what's happening in education and how do we combat it. And that's a big part of the brain development right now. So different than anything we've ever seen before. So you have to have that in mind if you're going to survive right now in education, because things are changing and they're changing quickly.
I heard Dr. Phil talking about that too, and you know, and he talks about how, you know, years ago, you know, now everybody's got a phone, everybody's got screen time, and even like your pediatricians, like when, you know, they'll ask,
It's
how
a
much
question.
screen time?
Yeah,
how much
yeah,
screen
yeah.
time does your child have?
Yeah.
You say no, and then you look over and your child's on.
We all love our
Hey,
number.
I'm on my phone while I'm getting through this
We
questionnaire.
all.
Oh, I don't think they have any screen time today.
I actually said no, and I looked over.
Hey, Mom, let's take a selfie.
Right? I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I mean, it's true, and that this is what it's about. And and no matter how much you know, say, oh, we're, you know, gonna. It is what it is. This
It
is
is what it
where.
is.
So then you have this, and let's work with this, and let's make this a positive and changing. You know.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, we all know that tech is a huge tool. I mean, the concept of having unlimited knowledge and content and information whenever you want it is just, it's a fascinating thing. And now with the advances in AI and what that's going to do, which we still don't quite know yet, but what that's going to do for all of us, you know, who knows how deep that goes. But yeah, if you're one of the ones fighting it at this point, it's a losing battle. You're going to have to. Doesn't mean you have to embrace it and everything. That's one thing that we always tried to do. You know, STEM for us, we do not make it mandatory that digital tech is involved in that. We try to remove that sometimes, even though we're one-to-one. You know, parts of that hands-on, part of the things that we do, you know, we do have to get tech and put it aside for a little bit just to get the other portion of the brain activated. And we're conscious of that with how we build and design things, and that's going to be part of our innovation space as well. Is, like we said, we want soft and hard skills, and we want you know, the pathway type introduction to things, and we still want to hit our strengths around here, which are, you know, our agriculture and our manufacturing and those types of things, which are strong programs that we have, and I know we're strong here at Salem, West Washington as well. That's going to be a huge part of what we do. So we're trying to be mindful of all of it and trying to build that unique space that hits it all. So
We've got a beautiful greenhouse. I mean, you can
Yes.
kind of work with, you know what I mean? on,
We do.
and-
The ag program, Todd Elgin has done, and even before that with Mr. Churchman. I mean, we've always had such a strong, and we have Miss Smith, who is now coming up, and she's gonna take over, I think, whenever Mr. Elgin retires. You know, it's a strength, and so we've invested in that, and that's one thing I like about Eastern. We do invest in strengths, and that's something that the ag department definitely is. And so yeah, those facilities are nice, and we're hoping to add some things down to the middle school level.
That's what I'm wondering.
That helps bridge that gap and introduces them early. And even the elementary, we have our cornfield out there that's become a big hit, and our elementary kids are going through the planting and growing process and cultivating out there.
Having the elementary out there hoeing.
And they're they love going out there and watching that grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chop away.
Yes.
So it is, you know, we're trying to line it out, and we're part of the Ready Schools initiative right now through ROI, which is a great organization. That's trying to make it even more linear with K through, or pre-K through 12, and kind of bridging our buildings together with some of those initiatives. So I feel like we're on the right track and doing some things to again, kind of help adjust to that change that has to happen.
Well, it sounds like you're on a great pathway, and I love the ideas, and most of this is going to start kicking off next year in August, right? We're talking
That's the plan. We have a busy summer and the rollout in August.
And on a side note, every time that we talk about AI and the technology, any generation that has missed it, so our kids now, when you talk about AI, they need to be required to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
Why are you trying to shut me down? I mean, you've got, because that's all I ever think about when somebody mentions AI. I think of, why are you trying to power me on? Well, I watched that while I was listening to the Eagles on vinyl. But you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I heard someone get fussy with Siri the other day, and she said, "You will not talk to me that way." Or Alexa, you know. You get some of them going too. It's like,
I know someone that swears that Siri likes to give them wrong directions.
Siri is and
got it out for me.
Yeah, I know. I feel that way. I have another name for Siri. We won't. But anyway, no, I think it's exciting though, and definitely. And you know, and I know, and I've been listening to Dr. Phil talking about, you know, what we went through with COVID. We learned how much electronics, and again, East Washington, you guys you guys had already been playing out before COVID. You'd even done the virtual stuff. You had already
we
started
were one-to-one
and started kind of. You were kind of already a little bit of a jump ahead on some of that. You know what I mean? You'd already started that. You'd already rolled that out. Not that it didn't have its glitches and steps had to be worked out. We learned during COVID that it had to really go full throttle, but you were already like you were one of the front runners on that. And so we saw that going on, and then of course kids at home doing, like you said, like whatever they want on demand, whatever they want, whenever they want it, at any time, and then of course phone, screen time, and all of this going on. So I think you have to. I mean, you can't. This is where we're at.
It's where we're at, and it feels like for the first time in educational history, especially post-COVID, where you know it always felt like you could keep up with it. Like as an educator, and probably I'm not in administration yet. That's a whole other beast. But as an educator, I always felt like I could at least keep up with education. We came back from COVID, and it feels like everywhere I go, and all the districts that I work with, it's very clear that we're fighting. We're behind. You know, it's got ahead of us. The behaviors are worse than they've ever been. The learning gaps are wider than they've ever been, and COVID has caused a lot of this. And you're trying to figure out how to keep your head above water. And in 2024 and beyond, you're gonna have to get ahead if you're gonna survive in it. You're gonna have to figure out how to combat some things and kind of. I talked about the Band-Aid analogy of what we're doing. You're gonna have to solve some real deep, under the surface type problems, I think, to do that. And I think it starts. And I'm speaking as a teacher, and I know you work in education over here. It starts with the workforce in the profession. that's going to have to be taken care of first, because no matter how big your ideas are as an administrator, no matter what you see as potential, like it's a tough thing to navigate right now as the people on the front lines, and so I think it's doable. I've seen it, and I've seen teachers that were struggling and are thriving now as they've made changes philosophically to their approach to how we're addressing kids and embrace different things that they probably never thought they would have to embrace. But you got to get ahead of it right now if you're going to have a fighting chance, because it's education's moving on, and the world's moving on, and it's you get behind quick.
Right. And I just want to real quick, I know we're running close on time, but also we're talking this generation too, and in middle school, they're at that tender age too, and I think and not to take away from high school or elementary, but we're talking middle school this morning, and I think that we're talking also a lot of social media too. That's always not nice, and that's very near and dear. I feel for we didn't have that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we know that there's. And that goes in every school.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's everywhere.
This is just everywhere. You know what I mean? And if somebody could solve that, I mean, that would be a huge.
It would fix a lot of problems.
But I think and you're at that age where if someone says something, and and we know that it happens on social media. So you've got a lot going on. There's a lot of, just like you said, the plate has become a platter.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, it is, and like I said, you're just dealing with things that you never thought 10 years ago that you would be dealing with, but it's the world, and we have to evolve and adjust and kind of change our approach a little bit. I think if you're gonna, like I said, if you're gonna catch up and get ahead.
Yeah, love that. Michael Gilm, you are fantastic, and I want you to keep up the great work. And Amber, I just want to say, here's the thing with Amber, she makes it look easy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's got she's got a lot going on in her family, a lot of children.
Yep.
Here we go, 6 minutes past the hour. Thank you for being with us. A brand new hour on the Rick and Bubba Show.